The Living Atlas Prologue. The Forge. The forge hung in the dark between the stars. It was not the largest forge. There were larger ones, where hundreds of apprentices hurried between anvils and furnaces, carrying buckets of sparks and trying very hard not to drop anything important. There were smaller ones too, lonely little forges where one old smith might spend a century shaping a single quiet light. This forge was somewhere in between. It had 3 anvils, 7 hammers, 1 furnace full of molten gold-white fire, and a kettle that had been boiling for longer than most kingdoms had existed. Around the central anvil stood 5 forgers. One was a master, old enough that his apron had more repairs than original cloth. One was a journeyman with strong hands and a habit of frowning at stories until they improved out of embarrassment. One was a craftswoman who could hear flaws in a star before anyone else could see them. One was an apprentice, nervous and bright-eyed, holding a little cup of glowing fragments. The 5th was asleep in a chair. Nobody minded. He was very good at endings and needed rest. The apprentice stepped forward. "I have one." The journeyman looked into the cup. "Looks small." The apprentice's shoulders fell. The master gave the journeyman a look. "Small is not the same as slight." "No," said the craftswoman, peering closer. "This one has roads in it." "And maps," said the apprentice quickly. "And a girl who thinks being wrong might be useful." The master smiled. "A dangerous idea." "I thought so," said the apprentice. "Good." The apprentice poured the fragments into the forge. They were not metal, though they melted like metal. They were not words, though they carried meaning. They were bits of almost. A bridge that had not been crossed, an orchard almost forgotten, a question nobody important had asked, and the particular courage required to say, "I checked twice, and I am still confused." The forge swallowed them. Fire rose. The apprentice lifted the smallest hammer and struck. A spark leapt upward, bright and uncertain. "Too sharp," said the craftswoman. The apprentice winced. "Do I start again?" "No," said the master. "You listen." So the apprentice listened. The molten light hummed against the anvil. It did not want swords or thrones or armies. It did not want a prophecy. It wanted paper, ink, rain, bootlaces, and the kind of person who notices when a footpath looks lonely. The apprentice struck again. This time, the spark curved gently. "Better," said the journeyman. The craftswoman leaned closer. "There is someone else in it." "A mark," said the apprentice. "A young one?" "Yes." "Good," said the master. "Young marks ask better questions than old scholars." The sleeping forger opened one eye. "Everyone asks better questions than old scholars." Then he went back to sleep. The apprentice's hands steadied. The star began to form, round, warm, and no larger than an apple. Lines moved beneath its surface like rivers under glass. The journeyman turned it with black iron tongs. "Not perfect," the apprentice swallowed. "No, there is a wobble in the middle." "I know," the master nodded. "Keep it." The apprentice looked up. "Keep the flaw? That is where the story breathes." The craftswoman smiled and tapped the star once with her smallest hammer. The wobble softened. Inside the newborn star, a young cartographer unfolded a map. The master lifted the star and held it to the dark. It shone softly. "A quiet one," he said. The journeyman crossed his arms. "Quiet stars are easy to miss." "Yes," said the master, "until someone is lost." He opened his hand. The star rose. It joined the countless lights beyond the forge, small but steady. Far below, in the world that had just begun to shine, Linnet Bramble discovered that her map had changed overnight.